Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tevora Talks. I am your host, Cash, joined as always by my co-host and partner in cybercrime, Matt Mosley. How you doing, Matt? Happy, what day is it? It's Friday. We made it another week.
Yes, happy Friday indeed. Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm excited. We got a very special guest with us today.
We do. We have a special guest. It's bringing all inclusive. This month is a fun month. It's Halloween month. It's October. And what else happening in October? It's Security Awareness Month, right?
Yep.
So, hey, who better to bring it all around and come help us talk about this fun subject that me and you always talk about? Security awareness is our bread and butter. But sometimes it's reaching beyond the enterprise level. Sometimes we need to bring it back down to, the average Joe, mom, dads out there, etc. So,
Definitely.
without further ado, I guess should we get a drum roll? Let's bring him on. Special guest today. He was an Army veteran, been in technology, security for many, many years, working in security at NBC, teaching security at NYU. He is currently the Senior Director, Information Security Architecture and Process Improvement at Live Nation Entertainment. And to top off all of that, he still somehow squeezed in the time to make a book, which is coming out soon. It's called Cybersecurity Six Pack, 6 Simple Steps to Improving Cybersecurity. Drum roll, please. Pat Wicks, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. How you doing, Pat?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on your show.
Happy Friday. Are you ready for the Halloween? Getting ready for the season?
I'm so ready for something different. I'm looking forward to the candy.
Nice. What's your favorite candy?
My favorite, Almond Joy.
Oh, okay. If you had said candy corn, we might have had to stop the podcast right there and just call it a day.
No, I go through my kids' candy and I look for the mini Almond Joys and I take them all.
Nice. Very cool.
But with that said, Pat, pass it to you if you want. Shall I give our 3-4 listeners out there a little bit of insight? Who is Pat?
I'm just your everyday cybersecurity professional. We're out there fighting the good fight to try to make everyone a little bit more secure. And if everyone's a little bit more secure, collectively, we're all a lot more secure. As you know, it's an arms race. The bad actors out there are trying to take over systems, and the professionals like us, we're trying to stop them.
Yeah, it's a nonstop ongoing battle back and forth. It's like the Squid Game. I don't know if you guys have seen it recently, but there's that episode where there's a tug of war.
Yes.
It's like, you got to have your tactics and techniques in place, but that's what you're good at, right? So the tactics and techniques. But yeah, kind of like what we were kind of talking about last week, just briefly here. It really extends beyond the enterprise, right? Everybody thinks cybersecurity is really only needed for big banks and big corporations, but that's not really it, right? Everybody needs a little bit of cybersecurity in their lives.
No, absolutely. The human is the weak link. You can have all of the great tools and you have great perimeter security, but if the wrong person clicks on the wrong email, then they bypass a lot of that and you still have problems.
Yeah, we had a pretty significant ransomware event a couple years ago, and it took down the entire network, global network. They had somewhere in the range of like 20 different domain controllers around the world, and it was all rooted back to some lady in Singapore, I think. She opened the wrong email and it infected the entire organization. And it's just crazy because, like you said, you can have the greatest security stack ever, millions of dollars, a whole team, and it just takes one person to click on the wrong link. And it's just over.
Keeping in the Halloween spirit. When you invite a vampire in,
yep,
then that's when all the trouble starts.
Definitely.
I mean, these modern day vampires, they're really getting clever at sneaking in too, but you still got to open the door, right? I guess.
And sucking the blood right out of you. The crypto miners just freaking eating your resources left and right.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, hey, speaking of clicking stuff, this is one thing that I really want. I can't wait for your book to come out because I'm for sure gonna give it to every person in my family. Number one, mom, if you ever listen to my show, nothing against you, but mom, dad, holy jeez, I don't know what they do to computers that every time I go there, it's just like 40 new browsers, there's a whole new bookmarks been set up, and I put stuff on there, but they somehow magically get around everything still. But yeah, so to talk to us about your book, I mean, what was your inspiration for writing it, and what is it going to really help everybody out with?
Well, my inspiration for writing my book was my mother.
There you
She's gotten
go.
older and she's targeted. She's retired. And so she's constantly receiving email messages, um, basically scaring her into taking some sort of action. And
Right.
so over the years, she has gotten better. And right now, she doesn't need a full Windows computer. So now she's operating off a Chromebook. So it does everything that she needs to do. Just changing that platform lowered her risk, but she still has to be careful of the email messages that she clicks on, and she has a smartphone. And so I just said, what are some simple things that my mother can do to improve her security, to make her the harder target than the next person? Because unless you're a big corporation like Microsoft or Apple or Google, you're not going to have teams of people trying to go after my mom.
Yeah.
So she's more of a hack up opportunity. That means she just happened to click on the wrong email or she happened to go to the wrong website. So I said, what can we do to help protect her, to build her protective profile? So of the hundreds of things that we can do to help secure ourselves, I started off with 6 simple steps that anyone can implement, and it'll automatically make them the harder target. It's not going to make them impervious. No computer is hack proof. If you're on a network, someone can attack you. But the hackers like to hack, move on, hack, move on. If they encounter a lot of security, they're not going to spend days and weeks trying to hack into my mom's system. They're just going to go to someone who has a simple password, or someone who's not using multi-factor authentication, or a computer that doesn't have an internet security suite installed. They're looking for the soft targets, the easy wins, so they can move on. There are literally billions of targets out there. They're not going to spend weeks hacking my mom if she has good security.
Right. Yeah, I always say that, it's the layered security approach, right? And the harder you make it for them, the less likely they're going to try, and they're just going to go down the road to the next door that's unlocked, right? or has a cheap lock on it, because they're trying to make their life easy, and they're also trying to be profitable, right? They can't burn hours and hours and hours of time, on one account, when they can go down the road and get 30 more accounts in the same time period. So that's awesome that you can definitely that you've cut it down to those 6 steps. You mentioned multi-factor, and I know that's part of your steps. Can you go a little bit more into kind of what that is, and a little bit more about passphrases, which I know you haven't mentioned yet, but I know that's part of your first step there.
Absolutely. So the key, everyone starts with a username and password. The problem is everyone has the same username and password, and they don't think there's anything wrong with that. But think about cybersecurity in the same way that you think about physical security. You wouldn't have one key that unlocks your house, unlocks your car, unlocks your office, unlocks your safety deposit box, because that would be crazy. Because if that key is lost, they can get into everything. It's the same thing when you use the same username and password for all of your internet accounts, because once the bad actors out there have a username and password, all they do is put it in an application that tries that same username and password on every site from Amazon to Zillow.
Mhm.
And if they're able to get in, they'll pillage whatever they can and move on to the next account. So
That's a great comparison, saying that a password is like a key, and using the same password across everything and using the same key across everything. I think that really rings home, to people that don't know that much about security. I think it like finally maybe lights up that light bulb a little bit. Let's hope, at least.
Well, I mean, let me ask you guys this here. Okay, so I've had let's go back to my mom, right? I tell her, I'm like, hey mom, not the same password. And then she's like, okay. So then like, I'll know her password. She'll update me so I save them and stuff. And then like one password ends with an exclamation and then the next one ends with a question mark. It's the same thing, but then it's just like random character at the end is different. I mean, is that still okay? Or what do you think? I mean, it's different, but it's not, so
it's unique enough. And it's funny, my mom challenged me on this. I said, Mom, you can't use the same password on everything. She says, okay, you're the professional. I'm retired. I'm not going to remember 20 passwords. Come up with a solution for me. And so the solution was, okay, Mom, I would like you to keep your same password. But at the end of your password, I would like you to add letters that represent the site you're on. So when you're on Gmail, I want your password to be your normal password, but then add the @ GMA for Gmail. When you go to Amazon, use your regular password, then add the @ AMZ. That way, you're still remembering that same one password, but it's unique enough so that if it gets compromised, they're not going to be able to get into your bank account, and they're not going to be able to get into your Cash App or any other app where they can go in there and take funds and cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And she says, okay.
Just that easy, I hope.
It's everyone wants to be secure, but everyone doesn't want to be inconvenienced. So it's our job as professionals to come up with ways to help people be more secure, but not inconvenience them to the point that they have to put in 25 character passwords every single time.
Right. Now, can you tell us, or tell the people that don't know, the difference between like a passphrase and a password, or provide an example maybe?
Sure. A password is just that, password. A lot of people, their animal or their child is their password. Those are very easy to crack. The bad actors have something called rainbow tables. And basically, they're big dictionaries that know all these different combinations. So what a person should do is not pick a word that's in the standard dictionary. And you should pick a combination of letters and numbers that represent a phrase. For instance, I like to use music. So Adele's Rolling in the Deep. You use the phrase, we could have had it all rolling in the deep. Your passphrase can be WCHH ! For I, instead of I, have an exclamation point. Instead of A, you have the @ and then the letter R for rolling, I for in, TD for the deep. So if someone looks and says WCH ! @ R ! TD, I will never remember that. But my daughter, when she was young, used to walk around and sing at the top of her lungs, we could have had it all. Oh, she never forgets that. And it's the same thing. Pick your favorite song. Pick your favorite poem, like Robert Frost. But I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Take the first letter from those two sentences, and that can be your base password. And that's the difference between a password and a passphrase.
Yeah. And when you explain it like that, it's pretty easy to, put that together. And Like my mom, I think could probably figure that out. How about Cash? Your parents?
Well, I mean, my parents, they primarily speak in Farsi, so I don't know how that would convert.
I'm sure there's some sort of song they like or a poem or something that's in
In
Farsi.
English, I don't know. Maybe Persian one, but then the characters.
Oh,
are
but then
more
they have to
letters.
use those characters, right? The
Yeah, but
special
then there's
characters.
more letters, in the Farsi
Right.
language, and so
Mm.
it wouldn't work. I mean, it might. I don't
Well,
know.
they're already ahead of the
I'm
game.
sure
Then. They don't
it's
even need a
working somewhere.
passphrase.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, Matt
So for
recently
Pat and I's moms, we need passphrases.
Yeah, no. I'll just stick with the extra exclamation turn into a question mark for now. That's cool.
Exactly. But as long as they don't use that same thing on different sites, like don't use exclamation, the same password with an exclamation on all of the banking sites.
Yeah.
It still has to be unique in some way. And you don't have to have 3 letters for like Amazon. You can just have A, but I would say at least 2, because A could be Amazon or it could be Ameritrade.
Yeah.
So as long as you're getting it unique per site, per account, just completely different twist, or just a slightly different twist, you're a step ahead of millions of people out there. Essentially, that's my takeaway from what it sounds like. Because obviously on our end we have Matt recently got me into LastPass, which it's cool, but it has like 30 character, 40 character, and you can get real complex with these, so.
Yeah, I got my parents into LastPass, and they just kept everything the same password, and then including the master password. So it kind of defeated the whole point of that.
I do advocate the use of password managers, because a lot of people save their passwords inside their browser.
Yeah,
and that is the very first place a bad actor goes once they compromise a computer. Because you can go into someone's browser and you can just hit the little eyeball and it'll reveal all those passwords that are saved in there.
Yeah,
No,
that's what Cash used to do until I got him on LastPass.
Well, because I had this, there's a reason. I read some Google stuff. Google always says, mine is the safest. And I was trying to understand their technology and how they encrypt it. And they're saying they used to say that we don't store it locally and it's pushing a cloud. But then I'm like, you know what? I'll just go to LastPass.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they do the same stuff as LastPass. I just like teasing you.
I know. That's why I'm like, I don't want to be the guy. I'm like, I use LastPass. it's not my fault. But LastPass, you know what else is really cool for email? I recently got, because I always tell Matt all the time, Pat, is like, the password is good. Having passwords for different accounts is great, but everything ties into email. Email is like the common source between all your banks. Everybody has that one email that everything links to, and all it takes is go to the bank, hit I forgot password, and if you're in my email, hey, no worries, reset my bank password, done deal, right? So I recently got that what is it, the Titan key.
Oh really?
Yeah, I got the new Titan key. That's pretty cool. It activates even on my phone. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Well, how do you feel about that?
I will never tell someone they had too much security, particularly when it comes to email, and particularly for security specialists at certain levels. For the average person, I advocate that they go to there are plenty of state and federal sites that have these quizzes on how to spot a fake email. But one, never click on links, ever. Whether it's in a text message or whether it's in the email. Because if you get an email from Amazon and said, listen, this purchase was made, if it wasn't you, click here to verify your account.
Oh, that's it.
Just log into Amazon. If a purchase was made, they'll let you know. Any message that Amazon sends you will be front and center as soon as you log in normally. The other thing that you can do, and it's quite simple, if you think an email is suspicious, hit forward on the email. As soon as you hit forward on the email and you scroll down, that from address, the true from address is going to show. So they can say it's from Apple support, but if you see next to it, like johndoe@gmail.com. That did not come from Apple.
Yeah.
So that's the quick and easy way of doing it. Your more sophisticated attacks can deal with that, but just to be safe, never click on links in email.
Yeah, or attachments.
Yes, never click on unless you're expecting it. Like if your mom says, "I'm sending you this picture," and you get an email from your mom and it has a picture attached, that's safe. It's just like you don't like random people just putting things in for you to open. You wouldn't, if you're going through the grocery store, if some random person walked up and say, "Here, try to eat this," would you eat it?
Dash would.
Hey, depends on what it is. You never know.
No, we're not talking about the people at Costco because those are pretty good. But just some stranger that you never heard of said, "Oh, cool, take a look at this." Or someone who, quote unquote, you went to high school with. "Hey, we went to high school together like 20 years ago. Here, taste this." You wouldn't.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I think it's more so on the personal side versus the business side, right? Business side, we get email attachments. We have to be obviously careful there, but it's more accepted, I guess, that an email attachment would come with like a PDF or a Word document or something. But when I'm looking at my personal email, if you're sending me a Word document and I have no idea who you are, you're definitely not, I'm not opening it. And I'm probably not going to open up a PDF either. Like, any attachments I get in my personal email, I don't think I've ever opened one, honestly. And I don't think people should either.
Hey guys, initially you said you swapped your mom not down to, sorry, Google. You swapped your mom out to a Google Chromebook. I mean, why would you do that? Like, what advantage you see for, your mom going to that platform as opposed to, standard Windows or a MacBook or something like that?
When people buy laptops, they have full administrator privileges. And these laptops are designed to browse the web. They can be used to look at email, but they're also designed to edit movies. And they're also designed to run nuclear power plants. The operating system has been built to be so versatile that it can do anything that the administrator wants it to do. Mm-hmm. You don't need to operate as an administrator all the time. So either when you buy a new computer, set up a computer that doesn't have an administrator account, or you can just move over to a Chromebook that's special built to handle email and streaming videos and playing games. And that's where my mom is in life right now. She is doing her email. She is on her video conferences. She is streaming her movies, and she's playing her games. Mm. So she did not need a computer that would have the capabilities of the new Windows 10 or Windows 11 computers. And guess what? She's just fine. She's happy.
And so because of that, you're saying, if her system were to get compromised, for example, I'm not sure the security around that exactly, but once they get in, if they were to get in, they don't have all these tools that Windows or what does to really cause that much chaos or destruction.
Exactly, because when you encounter malware, whether it's a drive-by attack or a malicious attachment, that malware is going to run in the context of the logged-in user. Mm-hmm. And if you're an administrator, that malware is going to be able to do whatever it wants to do.
Yeah, but I was told if I got a Mac, I wouldn't have to worry about malware.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know how many times I've heard that in my life.
Yeah, people actually tried to argue me down about that. I'm on a Mac right now, and I have an additional firewall. I have additional antivirus software. I have a DNS software on there. It's the best computer, the best operating system, or the best computer is this computer that's been properly secured, whether it's a Mac, whether it's a Windows computer. Yes, Windows is more popular around the world. It has more malware out there. But there's a lot of Mac malware also.
Yeah.
And Google,
I've had plenty of conversations with family about it.
Yeah. And Google Chrome has had, I don't know how many critical updates in the last few months. And they're staying on top of them. So no system is impervious to exploitation. But the likelihood of my mom suffering serious damage from malware on a Chromebook is a lot lower than her being logged in as an administrator on her Windows desktop.
Significantly reduced, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it doesn't mean go get a Chromebook and you're good. You still have to do your first step of your passwords and all that other stuff. That's still a thing, you know, because
exactly, you still can't invite the vampire in.
Yeah.
But Pat's brave. I don't know that I have the patience to go get a Chromebook and train my mom on that.
My mom wants to enjoy her retirement and she doesn't want to worry. And when I bought the Chromebook and I configured it for her and I made sure she had everything that she wanted on it and she was able to use it, she doesn't care whether it's Mac or whether it's Windows or whether it's a Chromebook. She wants to talk to her grandkids. She wants to watch her movies on Netflix. She wants to play her little Jewel games.
Yeah.
As long as she's able to do that, that's all that matters. And if she's able to do it securely, it gives her peace of mind. This is not a commercial for Chromebooks because I would never use a Chromebook. But you use the right tool for the right situation.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I mean, I struggle just trying to get my mom to use Roku, but I think an iPad would be good for her.
I love iPads. I think every grandparent should be issued. Every person that hits the age, as soon as you retire, no gold watches anymore. Give them iPads.
That's great. Well, I feel like our common point of interest and frustrations and security is our moms, guys. That's what it sounds like.
100%.
Okay. You know how it is when your mom calls and there's malware on there and you're concerned because they're retired, they have their retirement accounts. We want to make sure that a hacker didn't get in there and rob them blind. We want to make sure that, because my mom is really into genealogy, get on there and add ransomware and encrypt all of her pictures. That would devastate her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we use systems that are out there to create a platform that they can operate in safely.
Yeah. And you said that in very, very beginning, you said they're targeting her. And that's the real thing. I was, anybody who's retired, my parents, I was there actually once. My dad was in his office. He's an older guy too, and I hear him on the phone and he's talking to some guy and I walk in, I'm like, what are you doing, man? And he's like, oh, this guy's asking for my account info. He's trying to help me with my computer. And I just go and I just hang up the phone, unplug his internet cable. I'm like, dude, it was happening live, right there, I'm like, oh my God, these people are ruthless. And that part, I just didn't know better. He's like, I'm like, where'd you get the number? He's like, he said it's Microsoft, and I'm like, that's messed up, man. It's really messed up.
Yeah. I have a family member who, does not have a lot of money and is on retirement income. And someone called and pretended to be tech support and conned them into paying $150. And $150 is a lot, more so for that person, just because they live on such a limited income. And so then this person not only infected their machine, not only got whatever else information they needed, but then charged them $150 to do it, and then I had to go in and remove it all and everything. And, unfortunately that family member needed that $150. It was a matter of not making it through the month because they didn't have that $150. And there's a lot of retired people in our country that have that same situation. They're on a very limited income, and any kind of detrimental attack like this could possibly put them on the streets or at least go a week without food, which is really sad. So it's unfortunate. And they really do target the senior citizens, right? Like,
They do.
at a certain age, the phone just doesn't stop ringing, right? And it's not just extended warranty. it's like, oh, we're here for your roof. We're here because, and like my mom had a scam that, was something with my dad, like some debt, and he had never even lived in that state. Like it was just, they're just always out there to scam everyone. So I think this is great. I'm really excited about this book, and perfect timing too. Right in time for the holidays, Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Perfect. So how soon can we wait? Can we buy it?
The book, it should be available by Black Friday.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
It is a perfect stocking stuffer.
Exactly. I was just thinking that. Definitely a stocking stuffer.
Everybody's getting a stocking stuffer this year. That's for sure.
This is going to be the first book in a series of books that are going to address the issues. This is just a starter. It's like, if you do these 6 steps, you're more secure. And then the next book is going to focus on the social engineering. It's going to focus on the telephone calls and the email messages and the pop-up messages. That's a call this 800 number. I've had a couple of people who received that pop-up and they've called and they said it's Microsoft and they install remote access software. And it's just like, and they feel bad. I said, don't feel bad. The people that do this, they spend a lot of money understanding how the human mind works. They make you emotional. They make you scared. And when you're scared, they convince you that in order for things to be better, you should do this. And I'm here to help you. They're just like any other criminals. They don't get extra credit because they use a computer. A criminal is a criminal. They're no different than someone who would come up behind someone, hit them on the back of the head with a hammer and steal their wallet. It's the same thing. They're just doing it with a computer and they all suck. Yeah. But it's all about awareness. And awareness should not just be 1 month. It's something that we should do on a regular basis. We should have a channel devoted to this.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, these guys work 9 to 5. I mean, they have shifts that they report to a supervisor. I mean, they're working these call centers. We've done ransomware negotiation, and the guys, we didn't do the negotiation, but we sat in on it. And the guy was like, "Oh, let me go clear this with my boss to see if this ransom is going to be enough." You think that they're just underground guys living in their mom's basements hacking all day, but no, these guys go to work and they sit and work in these freaking, I don't even know what these warehouses look like, but they report to people, and it's an organized crime, a cyber threat crime unit that's out there trying to steal money from everyone all the time, trying to make money for themselves. It's just ridiculous. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, it can't add up. I mean, look, you're a family member, $150. That was just one person out of
one person, yeah,
10 person that probably guy called that day. And but Pat, thanks for coming on. Thanks for shedding a little bit of light, giving us a little preview about what the 6-pack of cybersecurity is going to be about. I'm excited to read it. I can't wait to give it to my parents. Looking forward to your future stuff too. Definitely would love to come and chat with you a little bit more, maybe sometime next year after your book drops, and do a part 2 or something like that.
Yeah, welcome anytime to come on.
I thank you for allowing me to come on today, and I thank you for the invitation to join again in the future. I would really like to do it. I'm passionate about educating the everyday person on cybersecurity, how to make yourself more secure, make the bad guy's job just a little bit harder.
That's what it's all about. Totally. Any final words for our maybe 3 people who are still listening to us? I always
one, cybersecurity 6-pack. It will be available on Amazon in November. But seriously though, cybersecurity is not rocket science. If you invest one evening into tightening up all your controls, like on your computer and on your phone and on your tablets, it's going to pay dividends down the road.
Definitely.
A few minutes on security is going to save a few weeks or a few months trying to convince someone that you did not buy all of this stuff on Amazon and send it to Africa, or that you didn't transfer your life savings to an account in the Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
And that your entire retirement account is gone.
Yeah.
So what did they say? What did doctors say? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Same thing goes for cybersecurity.
And there it is. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully whoever listened to it took a little bit away from it. Change your passwords, making complex. All the other secrets are going to be in Pat's book coming out. We'll make sure to drop some links on where they can get it and how they can maybe get in touch with you if they have questions. Aside from that, thanks again for coming on, Matt Mosley. Any final words from you, sir?
I have nothing but thank you very much, Pat. It's great talking to you as always.
Great being here. Thanks again, guys.
Till next time.